Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Annie.
And I'm Dillon.
It's great to have you back, Dillon. It's good to see you again. On this show, we love to rant, rave, and ramble about games that we like and occasionally games that we don't like. This week, we are back with the second game in a series. The one we did last week went pretty well, so we just did the sequel. But before we get into it, gotta ask, what is this game?
This game is one of my favorites of all time, Arkham City. Arkham Asylum was a really fun experience, and Arkham City, to me, possibly number one. There's very few games I put on the upper echelon of Arkham City. This is, from start to finish, just an almost perfect game. It is something I can go back to again and again. When you throw out the suggestion, do you want to do the second in the series? Hell yeah, I want to do the second in the Arkham series. And I got through the main story very quickly within a couple of days because I just love this game so much.
Normally people ask, like, do you want the good or do you want the bad first? I'm just going to give you the bad first because the list is very short. All right, so the bad is this is another game where I lost my save and I had to start over. Now, that's not the game's fault. That is my computer's fault, which is officially fixed. You can see it just briefly here. This mirror finished beauty over here is my new computer, and it hasn't given me any problems. Hey, John, you should maybe do that. Maybe make your show a little bit better. Who knows?
Wait for someone to give you a new computer setup. Invest.
Yeah, it helped. It helped a lot, actually. So I restarted the game, and I made the mistake. This is problem with the game, number one. I started my first playthrough on normal because I just wanted the experience. I had all the training from Arkham Asylum, so I kind of knew what the game was going to be about. So I started the game on normal and got all the way up to the museum where you're supposed to get freeze from Penguin. And I got my new computer, set it all up, and then I launched the game, and I have no save files. And I've already formatted the old hard drive, so it's not like I can go get it from the old hard drives. So I just like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to restart on easy and just make my way through it. Once I got up to where I was, I decided, okay, I'm just going to go to the main menu and I'll switch it back to normal. You can't switch to your game difficulty mid-game. Now, maybe that's great for some people who just want to stick to their decision and, just play through on easy or hard or whatever difficulty they picked. But I think that's a huge drawback for anyone that's not hunting an achievement for beating the game on X difficulty.
I agree. That's something that when you get midway through the game, even your first playthrough, easy may end up being something that you excel at so much that you want to go to the next difficulty. And I once again started on hard because I'm very experienced in here. And I forgot that you have to get the New Game Plus in order to get the hard mode that you experience in Arkham Asylum. The little blue indicators on hard on Arkham City are there. So that's actually something I have to say Arkham Asylum did better, is their hard mode. I wanted to come in and not have the indicators as I did with Asylum, but that doesn't kick in until New Game Plus, which when you get into New Game Plus, you can play the main game in the other skins. There's multiple Batman skins in this one, and
you can also do that if you use a cheat code, like a good old-fashioned cheat code. If you're on the main menu, you just hit left, down, left, right, up, down, and then you can, even if you're not on second playthrough, and even if you're on easy, you can pick the skins. So after I beat the game, I got to play around with some of the skins, which is a nice part. But let me finish on the bad parts. I did not like a single part of the game where you had to play as Catwoman, which is a big part of the side story of the game is playing as Catwoman, and in the free roam section, the entire city is like secondarily designed to be traversable by Catwoman in a different way, which I think is cool. But I just didn't like the fact that my Batman experience was just suddenly ended and I was playing as a different character. And even though the character segments were good, I just didn't want it to be in the game that I was currently playing.
And I think that's something that came with the Game of the Year edition, and now it's just standard. I'm pretty sure the Catwoman sections, and some people are disappointed. You start the game as Catwoman. This Batman experience, you have a small fight scene and kick off Catwoman's storyline first before you kick off the Batman portion of the game, and it's only a few segments that the Catwoman sections are. She does. I do like that they play different. There's also Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC post game that you can get into where you play as Robin. Of all the playable characters, Robin is the one I enjoy playing as the least. Nightwing, you can play in the challenge mode. I have a lot of fun with Nightwing, and your Catwoman is my Robin. I'm not a big fan of playing as Robin. I don't find his moveset as fun as all the other ones. And Catwoman actually has less gadgets. Everyone has the same amount of gadgets. Batman does have, when you upgrade and get the special combo move to break someone's weapon, he is the only one that can do that. He has got a combo, an extra combo that no one else has.
Yeah, I think that's a really neat thing. The combos, especially being able to disarm people. And I think it makes sense for Batman to do it because he's big and strong. And yeah, I mean, so is Robin, but Batman's known for being like, fuck your guns. So
Yeah, Robin and Nightwing, they have alternatives for the other combos, and an alternative for all the other gadgets except for the quick time gadgets. You get more gadgets as you go throughout the game. Mr. Freeze is one of those. It turns out to be pivotal towards the end. So like the gadgets that aren't quick time events during combat, we have Nightwing and Robin that have the same amount. Catwoman, she's missing a couple.
yeah. But before we just like get all the way into it, the last and final thing that I did not like was very simple. It's just the game is a little bit older, and if you're running and trying to parkour on things, sometimes your character does not path correctly, and they grab the wrong ledge, or you climb up something and start facing the wrong way, or accidentally fall off a ledge because you're holding the crouch button. Just simple things because of the age of the game. It might have played a little bit better if I was using keyboard and mouse, but I was just enjoying it with the controller because the game was kind of meant for the controller. It was put on PC way later. So,
The ledge grab that you mentioned.
despite those, like, me starting off with three bad things, I love this game. This game from beginning to end is fucking fantastic. And even though I had to start it over, I was happy. I was like, oh, sweet. I get to do the beginning again where you start out as Bruce Wayne. So this game takes place in the Arkham universe, as it's called. It is the second in the series. Third, if you count the prequel as number one.
Which
Um,
Rocksteady Games doesn't.
Yeah, so just fuck Origins. But anyway, so Arkham City takes place after, I think, 6 months or just a little bit longer after Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum is closed down, and Warden Sharp, who is the mayor as well, he ends up being he ends up starting a campaign to make a prison inside of the middle of the city, which I don't know how it got approved. I mean, there's a lot of corruption in Gotham, which is kind of the whole like theme of Gotham. But they essentially construct a huge wall in the middle of the city, and then put all the criminals inside of there, and they board it up and put guards and stuff. And they're like, okay, well, you can do whatever you want in there, is within reason, and as long as you don't try to get out, have fun. This is your little big town.
Story wise, we do find that Sharp was just being used as a puppet by Doctor Strange, who we're introduced to up front. And up front, we see that he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. and he's just an intelligent person. He just deduced that it's Bruce Wayne, and he figured it out. He didn't need to be hit over the head with a hammer. He just figured it out based on the information in front of him. So the puppet of Sharp, he got Doctor Strange, who promised him, you do what I want to do, and you will win the mayoral campaign. And that's all he cared about. So he just let Doctor Strange's Arkham City come to life.
And then once it was fully constructed and kind of underway, he appointed Strange, which you said Doctor Strange, and I don't know for sure whether he is or isn't a doctor. He calls himself Hugo Strange. Doctor Strange is trademarked or copyrighted by Marvel. He's the magic man, Doctor Strange. He's like the witch, wizard, sorcerer supreme. That's what he's called.
My mistake. Legally distinct. It's a legally distinct Strange.
Different Strange. I think this Strange is a lot more interesting than the magical one, who we won't talk about anymore because he's not part of this universe. Because he, like you said, he's very cunning, and he put all of these plans together and put all of this together just to trap Bruce Wayne in there and try to essentially end Batman, as well as promote his own campaign and his own goals, which we find out later on are
Protocol 10. We learn from the very beginning there's something called Protocol 10. That is what Strange, his idea of how to get the criminal element out of Gotham was through Protocol 10, and he had full intentions of enacting Protocol 10, and that's how he got it passed through. Like, this is just a failsafe. This will never happen, but that was his intention the whole time. And as you go through the story, 5 hours until Protocol 10, and you get an update from Oracle that they passed it. The city allowed them to do Protocol 10, and that was not supposed to happen ever in the city of Gotham's eyes. But that Strange, that's how you get rid of the criminal element in Gotham, is build this city, enact Protocol 10, and we will get to what that entails as we talk about the story in the game.
The game opens up with Bruce Wayne kind of at a, for the most part, peaceful. I mean, sure, there's probably a little bit of rowdy people. There's always shitheads at peaceful protests trying to fuck it up for the peaceful protest. But Wayne is on stage, and he's essentially saying, Arkham City is a bad idea, and we can't keep this going. We need to abolish Arkham City because this is just going to make a super virus of criminals that is going to spread everywhere if this fucking dam breaks. So we need to assure that this isn't going to happen by just, transferring them to regular prisons, blah, 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 politics stuff. So he's using his facade as Wayne to help his cause as Batman, because he doesn't want to be doing Batman 24/7, 365 in one area. He's got bigger fish to fry, so to speak. So during the protest, he is probably illegally arrested and detained and then put inside of Arkham City, which is part of Hugo Strange's plan the whole time. He wants Wayne there because he wants Batman there.
And during the game, you said that Bruce Wayne is saying Arkham City is a virus that will breed criminals, whereas Strange sees Batman as the virus that bred all these criminals. No, this is the solution to the Batman virus that made this criminal element come to be. So just absolutely, they're actually after something similar of getting rid of this criminals running wild in Gotham, but coming from two different mindsets of how to get that done.
Okay, well, then if we want to play off string theory and stupid shit like that, well, then all of this is actually the guy who shot Bruce Wayne's parents' fault.
Joe Chill, I believe, is the character.
It was actually all his fault. So he's the super criminal mastermind. He created Batman. He created all of these evil guys. It's all his fault. If he never shot Bruce Wayne, you see how stupid this is? You can't think along those lines because eventually it breaks down.
That is how Strange was operating. And of course, there is only one version of Batman where it isn't Joe Chill. The 1989 Batman, it was Joker who was Joe Chill and killed the parents. But yes, this random thug, Joe Chill, this is all his fault for creating Batman, for creating the Joker and Black Mask, and so on and so forth.
It cuts forward just a little bit, and we see that we have Bruce Wayne being detained here. Oh man, I gotta figure out which camera's right. This one, cool. He's taken into custody. He's in an interrogation room, and I didn't pull this part of the clip, but he shakes himself free of his chair, and a guard comes in because he hears the commotion, and Wayne, using his Batman skills, quickly grabs the guard's wrist, twists it, grabs his walkie-talkie, and takes a chip out of it. So whenever he gets the opportunity, he can take the information off of this chip and, presumably use it for his benefit. So as soon as you deal with that guy, another guard comes in here to take you because I guess it's your time to be screened. I pulled this clip because I think it's really interesting that there's a lot of Easter eggs in this game, as well as Arkham City or Arkham Asylum. If you just look, as soon as you walk out of the first playable area, you can see Black Mask is over here. Black Mask, for anyone that doesn't know, is like a gangster, a super gangster. He has like a bunch of crimes going on. He deals drugs and he kidnaps people. He's like Kingpin, but he's this version of Kingpin.
And this is all we see of Black Mask in the main campaign. In the challenge mode, we do have a little train sequence in which you can beat up Black Mask, but that's all we get of Black Mask. And there's an Easter egg that the internet had to tell me. You run into Azrael a few times. He's watching you from the very beginning. If you eagle eye, he knows.
Azrael, that's the Watcher?
Yes, the Watcher is Azrael.
Okay.
And he's there at the very beginning watching Bruce Wayne go out. So Azrael has also deduced that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he is watching him from the very beginning.
I think anyone that would have paid enough attention during the Arkham City incident, because at least canonically speaking, the game takes place over the events of probably 11 and a half hours. Because as soon as you start playing as Batman, one of the intercoms come over the city, as Dillon mentioned, and it says Protocol 10 will commence in 10 hours. So it's like, okay, shit, I only have 10 hours to stop whatever the hell Protocol 10 is and figure it out.
Luckily, not in real time.
Yeah, so that's just like the game time. If you're speed running the game, you can beat it in faster than 10 hours. So it's just 10 hours of game time, which can progress as fast or slow as you decide to go through the game. I really like the beginning segment. I was writing notes, and I noted that this was really cool because you get a chance to see Wayne, his model. You get to see how people perceive him in this universe, and you get to see how stupid people are. The fact that they can't immediately realize that this guy is Batman, which is a common theme in the comics and the movies and stuff. People aren't supposed to know who he is. But after you are officially screened into Arkham City and you're let through the gate, Hugo Strange says, well, we'll just, we'll let he can fend for himself. Arkham City is what it is. I'm not going to go throw him in like a super detention facility or in a nice penthouse or whatever. If he wants any of that, he has to fight his way up and climb the ranks or join a gang or, do whatever the hell people do in Arkham City. So as soon as you make your way through the front gate, you meet Jack Ryder, who is the radio guy from the first game. And he's also the one who was flying the helicopter around in the last boss fight, filming you and Joker fighting on the rooftop.
A sensationalist reporter that I love when you meet him later as Batman. You know me? You like what I do? Not a fan.
I think it's a really nice touch. After you get through that little tiny segment, a goon jumps over the gate and beats you with a pipe and knocks you out. And then Penguin kind of kidnaps you because he wants Wayne as a prize, because obviously Wayne would be a big, token.
Oh, and a family feud. The
right.
Cobblepotts and the Waynes go way back. And as you gain Riddler trophies, that's something a little extra that they reward you with is text background on all the lore, including the Wayne Cobblepot feud and what he alludes to a few times throughout the game of the fucking Wayne family.
I think I love the lore. Like Batman, I don't really love DC necessarily, but Batman is to me really interesting because all the villains are so wacky and some of them are like literally super powered and have powers beyond Batman's easily being able to deal with. But because Batman's smart and resourceful and enemies constantly underestimate him, he's able to overcome all of this stuff. And I really like the background plot of, the corruption, the greed, him trying to not become the villain that he's trying to stop. I really like that whole dynamic. It's just cheesy comic book shit, but it is what makes Batman such an interesting character. If you put him in a different city, in a different setting, he would maybe not thrive as much, in my opinion. Once you get the first opportunity, Wayne breaks free of Cobblepot slash Penguin and thoroughly beats up his guards and then gets a chance to either run away or get one good punch in as Wayne on Cobblepot.
This was actually the first time that I noticed I could get that one good punch in on Penguin. Every other time that I played this game, I just started scurrying away, and the Penguin is just demeaning you. Oh, that's right. Run away, Wayne, you little pansy. And yeah, this was actually the first playthrough where I noticed, oh, the Penguin's right there.
Yeah,
Pow!
you
One
punch him,
hit.
give him one good one. I decided to do something a little bit different. The movement in the game is very fluid or whatever, but at the beginning of the game when you are just Wayne, you don't have a lot of your equipment, so the controls function just a little bit differently. So instead of beating up the Penguin, I just was playing around with the dodge controls, being like, "Oh, okay, I guess I could do this."
Dodge to the left. Dodge to the right.
Which is funny because you can do a similar thing as Batman if you use the keyboard or the keyboard and mouse. On the controller, you have your just like parry button where Batman readies both of his hands to like grab or block or parry or deflect anything that's coming at him. But if you're using a mouse, that also functions as your left trigger, so you can like ready your gadgets and aim them. If you just spam that, though, you can kind of do a sort of move with just your dodges and just constantly spam them and kind of just derp walk with your dodges, left, right, left, right, left, right. It kind of breaks your immersion if you're trying to, be really into the game. But I like to just play around with the movement. Like in those scenes where you're talking to Oracle, I like to just rotate the camera so Batman starts to like moonwalk backwards.
Yeah, the update to the controls. In the first game, you didn't have like if you used one of your gadgets, it basically ended your combos. Where
Mhm.
now you've got the batarang, you've got the bat claw to pull them in. A little later, you get this electrified gun. The explosive gel is back. It's not. You can now use that. Really quick, drop it, and you've got a little landmine that the enemies will hit. And later, the Mr. Freeze, you're able to get a freeze technology, which is takes the place of the double tap of the of one of the buttons instead of the bat claw being the double tap from Arkham Asylum. That was the one big control difference I noticed in this one.
Gadgets are way more used in combat than they were in Arkham Asylum. In Arkham Asylum, especially on hard mode, you can throw them in to make yourself advantages. You can do the disarm, and you had a couple of quick controls. You had like quick batarang, and you had the quick bat claw. In Arkham Asylum or in Arkham City, they bump all of that up. Like I said, I was playing on a controller, so I assume it was very similar for Switch. Um, if you hold your aim button, your left trigger, your ready gadget button, and then press any of the face buttons, you will do a different quick gadget. So you have your quick explosive gel, you have your quick bat claw, you have your quick shotgun, and then once you get it, you have your double tap trigger for your quick freeze grenade. So you have just no matter what gadget you have currently equipped. I usually have the cryptographer sequencer thingy because there's no quick controls to use that, and you have to ready it and aim it and do a whole little mini game for it. So I usually have that ready because in any combat situation, I can just do a little button combination and press almost any of my gadgets on the fly, which I think is really good because a lot of the puzzles can be solved with that too. Like Riddler trophies on the wall, you can just use the quick back claw. You don't have to pull it out, aim it, and then shoot it at the wall. Or if there's a one of the battery generators, you can just use the quick shotgun. And as long as it's not because the shotgun has two features, it has uh, electric positive and electric negative. So if you need the negative draw, you have to actually pull out the gun and shoot it. But if you just need positive draw, which is like opening doors and secret areas, you just quick shoot it. So I think that is a fantastic quality of life upgrade, and it also shows that Batman is getting way better at his job because he's able to just pull them out on the fly in the middle of punching people and not break his combat flow.
I enjoy the variety in the combat. Anytime I'm in it, I'm trying to get as many different ways to hit the enemy as possible. So when I get to, when I'm able to get to all of them, to me, the explosive gel is the one I seem to miss out on the most because that takes two. One quick time to plant it and then another quick time to explode it. So usually when trying to get every single thing and I miss one, I'm missing the explosive gel of all the different ways to hit your enemy.
uh this is a good example of just being able to use them in quick succession. There's a brief section near the end of the game where you're in a quick scuffle with Joker, and instead of just ending the fight quickly, I decided to toy with him because, I know he's weak and fragile and doesn't really stand a chance. So I'm just spamming gadgets at him, pulling him into me, dropping explosive gel at him, walking over and throwing freeze bombs at him, teabagging him. I'm just like giving him bad manners and then watching him get hit by one of his little carts. It's completely disrespecting the Joker. I'm like, fuck you, piece of shit.
When I get to people like the Joker, Catwoman's final battle with Two Faces, another one, I would do the stun, which is another thing that's fun. When you stun them and then you're just able to hit them very fast over and over again. I kept trying to do that in Arkham Asylum, but that wasn't there yet. That stun followed by punch, 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 knockout.
Right, because they introduce armored enemies at some point who can, for the most part, block off most attacks. Like if you're just basic punching them, unless it's one of your finisher attacks or you're parrying them, for the most part, you can't do any damage to them unless you stun them or set it up with the gadget combo. So you are introduced to the like stun bash, where you just swing your cape at them one time and they're like, stunned. And then, as Dillon said, you just punch them 10, 15, 20, as many times as you can spam the button before they die or you get hit by another enemy. And it makes for a really nice thing because it can build up your combo really quickly as long as you can get out of it and then hit another enemy to continue the combo. I think the combo flows so well.
I do love countering an enemy when I'm in the middle of that armored enemy who takes a shitload of punches to get to, and just a quick counter, and then just right back to, okay, now I'm still punching you. It's a fun little, excuse me one moment, punch, and I'm back. Punch, 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 punch.
Once you get several upgrades into your skill tree, which, do you have any images or clips of the skill tree in this game? I didn't pull them for some reason.
Yeah, that's one I forgot to get. I got a still image last time. I forgot to capture a skill tree, which is, as we mentioned last time, it was more like a skill line, and this one is a skill tree. You
sort of. It's a skill line, but it's in a grid, so it's similar progression. So you have your same combo progression as in Arkham Asylum. You have your critical strike upgrade, and then you have the one where instead of getting combos at 12, you get them at 8. And then you have the one where after 12, you just do more damage and you move a little bit faster. And then there's a couple other upgrades that are added, but those are all in the same line. Instead of being in literal line, though, they're in a nice little grid with a bunch of boxes, and you can see little icons and previews of what they do, and even get tutorial hints on how to use them in-game if you are given the prompt. Something I had to get the hang of one upgrade was the blade parry takedown. they introduce blade enemies in this game, which are just weapon enemies, but you can't just regular block them because obviously they have a knife and they're going to hurt you. So you can hold down the block button and move away from them, and Batman will dodge them. Once you get the upgrade for it, instead of holding the button, if you hold and then release it as they swing, and then hold, release, after they last swing, you'll do an instant takedown of them so you don't have to worry about that enemy anymore. Unless they're like a end game level enemy where you can still do that takedown, but then they'll be on the ground ready for like an actual finisher because they have so much health that they can live through at least one beating.
Those bladed enemies were I had the same issue of having a hell of a time to get the timing correct on doing the 3 dodges and not getting hit by one of them. That took me even coming back to it a while to get the flow of blocking the bladed enemies properly.
I think it's even more annoying because once Batman has to deal with the League of Assassin girls, they have a different swing pattern. So you're used to the guys with big machetes or like a shitty sword swinging 1, 2, 3, and then no problem. These girls have form and like purpose behind their swings, and they swing 4 times. So you have to make sure you are ready for that 4th swing. Otherwise, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to do my execution, and you let go of the button, and then she hits you with that 4th swing. But because you're not doing the timing, you can't do your takedown anymore. So for me, it took
I
me a little bit to learn the assassins, and then you don't have to deal with them after that. So learning
Yeah, the
that phase was
assassins,
kind of arbitrary.
their blade pattern. When I see that yellow indicator of several slashes coming, I didn't even fuck with trying to get that timing down. I'm just parrying over them and hitting them from behind, or trying to
Shotgun.
if I have the upgrade where you have like a whirlwind around you to stun all your enemies. That
That's a
one
really good ability.
I used a lot. I love the instant finisher. We have we mentioned the weapon break, the whirlwind, and the other
Mhm.
one. If you have enemies downed, multiple batarangs immediately take them down.
That is so useful because there's not really a cap on how many enemies you can take down with that ground finisher. So if there's like 10 enemies on the ground for whatever reason, like they got hit by a Titan or an environment came over and knocked him down, if you time that finisher, you can just kill so many people at once, which is really useful in fights wherever. I have this pulled up here. This is one of the early fights, but in this game, they ramp up how many enemies they fight at you and how many enemies can attack you at once. You mentioned briefly in our Arkham Asylum episode that typically only one enemy attacks you at once. Maybe one enemy, and then as soon as that enemy is done attacking, another one will come at you and it'll feel like 2 attacks, but they only really attack 2. In Arkham City, they will do 3, even 4 enemies at a time. So you either have to be ready with your block button, or you have to dodge. Or what I like to do is just space out my attacks enough and pace it so even if somebody's coming at me with an attack, I'm going towards an enemy that's not attacking me, and I can just constantly keep my combo flow up. And
I did
it's
that
so
very
nice to
often as
do this
well.
because you just kind of zip around the room, and once you get that 12 combo, you get this like blurry like rage effect. The slow-mo finishers are way better in this game too. They seem to land more often and not like in Arkham Asylum. Sometimes I would go to do that head punch and I would like completely miss their head, and then still they would go oh and fall down on the ground. Now I understand the game came out in 2009, and it was a product of its time,
It
but
was their
they've
first
massively
effort.
improved in this game.
Yeah, here in their second effort, yeah, I absolutely love having the 2 and 3 enemies coming at me at once, and having the animation of blocking them all. And Catwoman has some fun animations as well, of having the 3 guys where she'll like spin around one of them and kick 2 of them before smacking down the third one. It, I mentioned the Bane fight. You actually work with Bane on this one. I don't know if you got to that side mission.
No,
Uh,
I heard a bunch of guards or like thugs and goons talking about how Bane was somewhere in the city, but because I was just trying so hard to make sure I had finished the main campaign, I didn't get enough time to do a lot of the side missions. I was actually thinking about pushing back the recording today until tonight after WATP, just so I had this morning to play more time in the side quests. But it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, the Bane side mission actually doesn't interfere too much. You're working with Bane. There's Titan in Arkham City, and Bane says, I'll get 6 of the containers. You get 6 of the containers." So it's actually as you're going through Arkham City that you will come upon these 6 Titan containers that you put the explosive gel on and explode. And they didn't want to overlap the fights from the first one. Here is the Bane fight. You actually fight a bunch of Tiger Guards. You come back, Bane. I got all the Titan. It's taken care of. Good. I took care of mine. And then it's a bunch of Tiger Guards. They're actually fighting with Bane. That he's hulking his way through the guards, and you're hitting them. And then Bane turns on you. He wants that Titan for himself. So here's the what some people would consider.
Has he been doing Titan?
I don't believe he's been doing the Titan. I think it's still what is it, the Venom that he's been doing. But
is he willing to risk that? Does he have a scientist? Like, I know Bane's smart, but like, is injecting Titan into you smart? Like, you see what it does to people.
Well, he's addicted to the venom. He is ready to. He's on the cocaine of this drug. He's ready to go to the heroin. So instead of a big Bane fight, here is what happens after Bane's like, "Ha ha ha! Now all the Titan is mine. Thank you, fool." Yeah, the big fight is with Bane, and I guess they were like, "Well, you already fought Bane in the first game. Let's just."
So for the audio listeners. Bane charges at you just like he would with his, fight, and then instead he just runs right into a cell and turns around, and Batman throws a batarang and closes the cell. So the fight is literally over in 2 seconds. Bane gets one attack, misses it, and then Batman locks him in a cage. It's like, all right, well, we're not doing that.
And you do have a fight with Tiger Guards with Bane, and for me it was so fucking quick because I took down a few guys. Bane just hulked his way through them, and I did that Batarang finisher. And yeah, as you said, like 10 or a dozen guys just immediately. I was like, "Oh, holy shit! There is no limit on this Batarang finisher while they're down." So that I could see being disappointing. And actually, the way you deal with the Titans, you come across the Titans again a few times in the game, and it's completely different. The Batarang doesn't stun them. I actually would have liked to seen the Batarang.
They got used to it, or they adapted, which I guess makes sense. But
yeah, I guess I would have liked to have seen 2 ways to take them down. If that would have been included along with now the super stun, when you use your cape attack 3 times in a row, and then kind of like you do with the armored enemies, just punch, punch, punch. And you can ride them and take out enemies just like you did in the first one when you come across those Titan enemies.
I liked fighting the Titans because they didn't overuse them. They put them in occasionally, and when they did, it was usually only one at a time. I don't think they might have done it in side missions, but in the story, they never threw 2 or 3 of them at you at a time, so it was really easy to deal with them.
And you also have the
clip I had with Joker. There was one of them in there, but for the most part, I just kind of cleared the room and let him get hit by the cart.
We have like an alternative super enemy as well of the conjoined twins who have been separated. You fight them once with Joker and once with the Penguin, the hammer and the sickle.
Oh, that's what's going on with them?
Yeah, they were conjoined twins who have been separated, and you have one with the big hammer weapon and the other with the big sickle weapon that are coming after you, that are a super enemy. Once you get down, how to avoid their attack, though, they're just really easy to...
You just shoot them with a shotgun, and then they do
you've been shooting them?
Yeah, you shoot them with the shotgun, and then they do it like a little twirly thing, and then they'll spin the hammer or the blade, and then they'll chop people around it. And then they'll briefly be stunned, so you can just go do the rapid punch on them. And then usually they will open up with one of their heavier slow attacks after they recover. So you can easily just dodge out of the way and start punching other people until you can get another shot in on him.
And if you get into the challenges, that they have, you do have those brothers mixed in with a Titan enemy. Once you're ready to up your combat for some more challenge in the challenges with uh, as I mentioned, Batman and Nightwing. I love doing those with Batman and Nightwing. A little disappointed that we have the content, the extra thing with Robin, and we don't have the option to do it with Nightwing, because I love playing as Nightwing so much more than Robin. And no story campaign with Nightwing, just the extra challenges and the predatory maps and the
Yeah, yeah.
the,
Nightwing's not
the,
really in the story.
the predator maps. Those are fun. What you mentioned in Arkham Asylum, your favorite aspect was just feeling like Batman, and the predator maps. They'll give you maybe some ways you hadn't thought about taking out your enemies without being seen. That helps you feel like Batman.
I really do like the stealth segments. I just hate whenever they throw in the they're not suicide collars anymore, but they still have like heartbeat sensors on them. Whenever they die, uh, the boss of the area will let the guys in the room know, "Hey, Batman killed one of your guys." And then suddenly they'll all be on alert, and you'll have to either wait it out until they all calm down, or quickly switch your strategy to be less stealthy and more silent assault.
And what is fun about them being aware of it is that they do get nervous. Like if you're in the floor grates and
Mhm.
you haven't taken anybody out, they're not scared, and they'll just immediately it's Batman out of the floor grate, pow 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 pow. But if he knows like they're the only one or only two left, and you surprise them coming out of the floor grate, Batman, and you've got a free shot on him with whatever weapon or punch you'd like.
We have touched on a lot of things, but we've been kind of all over about the story. So to pick up where we were talking about it, Batman or Wayne climbs up, gets his bat gear, and as soon as he's suited up and ready to go, he figures out, okay, I need intel. I need to figure out what I'm doing and who's running things. So I need an ally on the inside. Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, is on the prowl nearby and gets captured by Two-Face, and she's in the court.
From the opening segment, yeah, she's doing some cat burglaring. You take out her guys, and Two Face he captures her, and luckily he flips her the coin, and she doesn't get instant death. She gets a trial before she gets sentenced to death, anyways.
Batman makes it into the court just in time to save her, and uh Arkham Asylum, they did a thing where Batman's bat suit would progressively become more and more damaged throughout the night, and Arkham City does that even better. It's harder to figure out which wound comes from what because of how rapidly his suit gets fucked up. But I really like that the first one is right there at the end of the fight. Two-Face takes his gun that he's been hiding in the booth with and essentially aimbots you. Even if you're in the middle of a dodge roll, he will shoot you. But because Batman has typically bulletproof gear, it hits him right in his bat nipple and just leaves a scar here, which is the first like damage to his bat suit. And it took me a little bit after that scene to be like, where did I get that? Where did I get that wound? Where did I get that wound? Oh right, yeah, Two-Face shot me. I forgot about that. So you
Right off the
free
bat, I got shot.
Yeah, so you free Catwoman, and Catwoman tells you, essentially, I don't really know what's going on. So she's not very helpful.
And yeah, from there, Joker has a sniper, actually a remote control sniper, trying to take out Catwoman, and then you kick off the story using your detective mode. It's sparse that the detective mode is used in this game, but it is fun when you get to play detective.
Yeah, I really like that. They're a little bit linear in the detective sections. You don't really have to look for anything. If you paid attention to what just happened or what is happening, you can find the things instantly. Like whenever the bullet comes through the window, I mean, obviously the bullet hole is in the window, so you just look where I was just standing, and then it's only a matter of a couple of seconds to turn around and figure out where the bullet hit, which is the two things you need to figure out to go up to this clock tower up here. Now, I tried to pull this clip in my first playthrough and in my second playthrough on easy mode. Um, Well, I say second playthrough, but you know what I mean. After I beat the game, I came and started the game on normal because I wanted to, just experience the combat a little bit. Uh, Once you get up to the top of the tower, Joker has it rigged because he assumes Batman's going to come up here and investigate it, and it's a nice chance to blow him up and kill him, or at least have a good old laugh at him. So Joker comes over the speakers and the little TVs as he typically does. He tells Batman he needs to get the hell out of there, essentially. Because if you stand there at the beginning, what you're supposed to do is as soon as the countdown starts, you're supposed to jump out the window and you'll get like a tiny cinematic of Batman gliding to a nearby building and then it exploding. But Joker doesn't actually want to kill Batman, because he likes the game. So the countdown goes from I think 5 or 3 to 0, and then it like beeps like it's going to explode, and then it doesn't explode, and then that uh, that monologue comes over where Joker's saying, "I know you're just going to jump out the window and come and find me, so come on, just let's do it. You're going to ruin all the fun if you just stand here." So I just
That would
ruined all the
ruin
fun
his
instead.
night. Yeah, if Batman doesn't just dies in the explosion.
I'm sure Joker would like that, but it would also be like, imagine 10 years later when they're like, oh, so tell me about the story about how you beat the bat again. Well, he
He
fell for a
didn't.
trap and he didn't jump out. There was 4 windows he could have jumped out. He had time to disarm all of the bombs. He had all of his tech with him. It's not like I EMP'd him. He wasn't gassed. He just stood there and let me kill him.
In the side missions, there are a little more detective work. You go after Deadshot in the game, and sometimes I'm able to beat the Deadshot side missions before. This time, I guess you have to fly or walk in a certain area for another Deadshot victim to be shot. And Batman talked to Oracle, another Deadshot victim. I heard his sniper. And Hush is there as well. There's a few Hush enemies Hush victims rather, and you've got to just kind of stumble onto them. They let you know where the first one is, and still, even after I've finished the campaign and I'm just collecting Riddler trophies, I can't find where the fuck the other Hush victims are. I haven't stumbled upon them. That was actually the very last thing in my first playthrough that I experienced was the culmination to the Hush side mission, because you've just got to kind of find his victims, and it's actually a fun little payoff. Hush doesn't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, but Hush also has a vendetta against Bruce Wayne, so he's stealing all these faces throughout the night and stitching them together
Oh,
and
wow.
putting them on his face. So when you see Hush, it's Bruce Wayne with all these scars on his face from where he's
Yeah.
stitched together these faces to be Bruce Wayne.
Wow. That's fucked up.
Oh, and that also goes with Oracle questioning, are you okay? Because all these people who saw the murder, it was Bruce Wayne who killed this guy. He looked really messed up. So that's another thing that it's like, Bruce, are you okay? Everyone is saying that Bruce Wayne brutally murdered these people. What is happening?
Well, good old propaganda. Bruce Wayne doesn't kill people, Batman does, and then pretends that he doesn't.
Batman only sets up the circumstances for people's deaths.
Yeah, like, punching them off a building and then falling 48 feet and then smashing their head onto a pole. Yeah, that's definitely non lethal takedown. Anyway, once you get up to the tower and you intercept the signal of where it was being remote controlled to, you head to Joker's lair. And once you get there, Joker reveals that he is sick from the Titan that he injected into himself in the first game. Once he recovered from it, it ended up being kind of like a terminal toxin in his body. So, as I mentioned, you have to get from the tower, get from the little clock church tower all the way to where he's hiding. And the gliding and movement in this game is so much better than in Arkham's Asylum. It's kind of insane. You can do well, the gliding is just completely like reworked, and it's actually good. And there's like dive bombing, and you can carry momentum and stuff. But what you can do is you can do like grapple cancels. So you can go from a really long grapple and then just straight into a glide, and it just provides so much mobility, and you can sneak up on enemies with it because gliding is silent. Just I think it's fantastic. Just the movement in this game has just completely reworked itself. It feels like Arkham Asylum, but everything is up to 10.
They have physical challenges this time with the Joker trophies, and one of them is to glide a certain distance, and you get a gadget upgrade of a boost where if you grapple, you can double tap, and you will just shoot off.
Ooh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, that upgrade, like the second one, glide for 150 or 300 meters, whatever it is. Like I just naturally hit it because I was just having fun gliding around the city, yeah, it's just fun to glide around Arkham.
You can see here in the clip that Batman's using a dive bomb to get a lot of speed and then slightly pulling up on his glide because Batman can't fly, but his glider cape is second to none. This
And you
thing is
gain height.
essentially a next level flight suit that you can just fly almost perpetually with.
So you can just, if you're good, you can just perpetually glide around all of Arkham City. And it is kind of difficult because it is in a U shape. We have Wonder Tower is off limits. So you can't just go through this big city from side to side. It's like a U shape with a lot of obstructions in the way. And Penguin and Joker are really having at it. While you're looking for Freeze, Penguin blows up the bridge that is in between the two, and that just opens up more of the island for you to glide with much more ease.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought up Penguin because that's where we get to next. After you have a little scuffle with Joker, it's revealed that he had like a body double and you were pranked with the old Joker is dying thing. So after that he injects you with some of his blood so that you are now going to suffer from the same terminal disease that he is. And Batman, being the stoic asshole that he is, he's like, well, fuck it. Well, if you're gonna kill me, I guess we're both just gonna die, and I'm not gonna build a cure for you or me, and we're just gonna suffer. And he's like, yeah, well, I also shipped it to thousands of people in Gotham, and now most of the hospitals have my blood, and I've been doing transfusions with my blood. So if you don't get this cure for me and you, that's fine. But you're also gonna let all these people die. So that's not very Batman of you.
And Mr. Freeze, at this point, we know has been working on something. We're looking for Mr. Freeze, and we go one place to find him in the at the Gotham Police Department. What's really funny is there's thug dialogue that you can run into beforehand. The thugs, I love that aspect of the thugs just talking to each other throughout the game. And at one point, the thugs talk about how Penguin has Freeze while you're still going to the police department where he isn't at. So you get a little spoiler if you just eavesdrop on the thugs to realize, oh, this is pointless going to the police department. But it's story progression in which you have to go to the police department.
This isn't the conversation that you're talking about, but this is a good example of the goons in this game. They feel a lot, they're a lot crazier than in Arkham Asylum, which is funny. But they have like whole conversations with each other about like them being evil and stuff. They're dangling one of Two-Face's goons over a pit of like acid, and the other guy's like, "Ooh, you ever smelt melting flesh before?" The textures in this game are very, very nice. The entire game looks so good. I don't know when this game was released, but it looks like it was released like this year.
I've got a little bit of thug dialogue as well here. It's just silly, this one. I had to capture this because this one gave me a giggle at the end of it, of them talking about how Catwoman and Batman took out Two-Face earlier in the game.
Down dent. Batman did it. I heard some of his crew talking about it earlier. It sounded insane. Batman drops down and starts beating down on them. Took down 30 guys without even breaking a sweat. Sounds bad, man. Catwoman went to town on Dent's face. I hear she ripped half the skin off his good side. They're calling him One-Face now. No way. Hey, it's what I heard.
One-Face.
That gave me a laugh. That he is Two-Face is now One-Face because both sides are fucked up now.
Damn, that's really gonna mess with his look. One of the goons in a different area mentioned that he was, just being a little bit nosy and paying too close of attention, and he noticed that Harvey also had claw marks on the other side. So the fact that she messed up this good side of his face, he does actually have matching claw marks on the other side. So it does kind of throw off his asymmetrical look if he has two symmetrical cat claws on his face.
I have one more clip here that I have on Twitter. This is from once you go after the Penguin, Commissioner Gordon, you're going to save Mr. Freeze from the Penguin, but now you have two missions. Commissioner Gordon sent a bunch of police officers undercover into Penguin's gang, and now you have to save Mr. Freeze and about a half a dozen undercover police officers who they figured out are rats. So there's a lot of fun in saving. And I have one of the guards are very grateful that Batman saves them.
I really like the museum segment. It's really nice because you can walk around and see little exhibits of different people locked in like little chambers that are exhibits designed to fit them. Oh my lord. That is all right.
Batman did a great job of saving him, and what's really happening here is he's just absolutely freezing, but I found this camera angle of the guard really thanking Batman a whole lot for what he did by appearing to fillet him. I was like, I need to capture that.
That's really good. How long does it just loop?
Yeah, it looks like I'm on Twitter.
That's awesome. Like it just loops. So it's just a almost seamless gif of Batman getting a good old blowy in the Iceberg Lounge. And this is like the coolest part of the museum.
I do love that I also was able to get him looking around, making sure no one's seeing him getting a blowy from this guard. Yeah, the museum is a fantastic set piece. And that's actually something that I had fun messing with the enemies. There's little exhibits everywhere, and you have the Penguin talking about he's dubbed over what these exhibits are, so you can actually go over and hit the button on one of them and alert the guards, and they'll go over there to fuck with them. Over here, the bat's here. Oh, and it begins with a jump scare once you're able to get into the museum with the electronic Tyrannosaurus Rex. So that's a fun little aspect as well.
Like I said, I think the museum is a really good early set piece. It's really interesting that they put both the Penguin and the Freeze in the same area at the beginning of the game because it makes sense with the story because Penguin is trying to be the biggest, baddest in the city, and the way he does that is by showing off his wealth and what he owns and kind of intimidating people into being subservient to him because they're scared of what he can or might do to them. And Freeze is in one exhibit that is like overly hot for him with just enough of his cryo shit to keep him alive, but he's just in a perpetual state of just agony, just being cooked while being just okay. So Batman frees him and says, "Give me the damn cure." And he's like, "Okay, well, if you want the cure, you're going to have to get me my suit and my stuff so we can go to my lab and we can get it." And Batman's like, "Well, fuck you. I only care about the cure." And Freeze convinces Batman to go take down Penguin for him. And then after he's revenged him, then he'll help out Batman.
Oh, the boss fight with the Penguin. The Penguin has Freeze's gun, and reluctantly, Freeze has to give him the override safety feature to how to combat his gun because Penguin's got it. We can't go anywhere with the Penguin still having your freeze gun. So it starts out with Penguin freeze gunning you. You're able to come back and de-arm the gun, leading into the Solomon Grundy fight.
The little tiny fight with Penguin, I'm glad it turned into the Solomon Grundy thing, because the actual fight with Penguin is super boring, and once you get to him, he literally just kind of stands there and cowers, and you can just do whatever you want to him. You can just literally just smack the old man around until he finally gives up and begs for mercy.
I love how slowly you're going with
slow
this.
punching him.
Stop
Give him
it.
Give him open palm slaps. So I really, really liked the Solomon Grundy fight. I think it was, like at the beginning. I don't know if you have any clips from it, but at the beginning of the fight, he gets powered up and kind of rezzed, or I don't know anything about the character, so I don't know what's going on with him. But he just comes back to life from like electric, like a la Frankenstein kind of style, and then he uses his restraints that he's tied up with to beat you up with it. So he's throwing around like balls and chains at you while Penguin is supercharging him and giving him extra power, which sometimes goes into the balls and chains and does like lightning ranged attacks. And I think it's really cool, like that he has range and he's melee at the same time. It's a really cool fight, but it took me a good it's probably longer in my head than in real life. But it felt like 2 to 3 minutes of me running around the boss fight trying to figure out what the hell to do, until I think a tooltip popped up that I needed to use my explosive gel, and I'm like, on what? And then I remembered that I can do the like quick explosive gel thing. So I ran over to the plates on the floor that were opening and closing, charging up the machinery that were charging up Solomon Grundy. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just blow them up. So after I figured that out, the fight kind of went really quickly. It's just a matter of dodging him until the panels open up again, and then you just blow them up.
Yeah, once you figure out what to do, it's an easy fight. It's just, I was actually disappointed when I felt it popped up really quickly for me, especially on the hard difficulty of, hey, remember your explosive gel? Damn it, game! I wanted to be challenged. I would have remembered it eventually.
Solomon Grundy looks really, really cool, and once you finally defeat him, he ends up getting himself essentially restrained, kind of on accident. He gets one of his ball and chains stuck inside of a generator to heal him, and then he gets the other one stuck inside of some gears when he staggers backwards, locking him up and kind of waiting for Batman to finish him off. I think this is a really nice touch by the developers and proves their constant attention to detail and their appreciation for the IP that they are working on. You can use the shotgun and literally heal him just enough to stop him from dying. So you can just almost infinitely beat him up by shooting him with your little shotgun that you have.
Yeah, your electronic shotgun will revive some of his health.
It's fantastic. You can just beat him up for almost indefinitely. As long as you don't hit him too much while his health is low, you can just constantly revive him and just beat him up and be like, well, this will teach you a lesson. The fight wraps up, and it's pretty uneventful, honestly. After you defeat him, you get back to Freeze, and then you and Freeze go to his lab so that you can create the cure. But Freeze tells Batman he's kind of been leading on Batman this whole time, because Freeze in this universe, at least, seems to be less of a bad guy and kind of just like a criminal asshole. His goal, if you don't know, is to find a cure for his wife. His wife came down with some sort of terminal disease that is super rare and hard to cure, or whatever, or there is no cure for it. So Freeze, being the cryogenic scientist, he put her in stasis and stopped her from dying. Instead of letting her die, he just puts her in cryo so he can do whatever he needs to and build a cure to save his wife. That's kind of his only goal. So Batman is like, okay, so tell me how to build the cure. And he's like, well, I would, but I almost had it done except it needs one key ingredient that I didn't tell you or anyone else about because, I don't like to divulge my secrets because knowledge is power and me having leverage is important because I'm a frail old man. It's really easy for you to kill me, so whatever. So Batman's pissed off, obviously, and he's like, well, tell me about the shit. And he's like, it's some sort of enzyme. And Batman just happen. I think this is very coincidental, or whatever you want to call it, Deus Ex Machina, or lazy writing, or anything like that. But Batman is like, okay, I happen to know somebody who has that enzyme, and it's been bonded to them for hundreds of years, so it's already perfect for your experiment. And Freeze is like, okay, sure, whatever. I'm gonna go to my lab and like try to save my wife and shit. So you have fun doing your impossible errand of finding the shit that I already told you doesn't exist. So Batman goes and he's having this conversation with Freeze in like the lobby of the museum. And one of the exhibits is a League of Assassin lady. She was captured, or if you play her little exhibit thing, it turns out she took out like dozens of Penguin's guards before.
This little minx, as he calls her.
Yep. Yeah, and she's just kind of sitting there. Like, I thought she was dead, but like her vitals, if you use your detective vision, says that she's fine. She's just inactive. She's just sitting there, and then
in a meditative state, which
Right.
the League of Assassins would be able to get their heart rate down to next to nothing.
So as soon as Batman mentions who he's going to get this enzyme from, he says Raish, which was weird. I've always heard it pronounced Raz, but I guess with the apostrophe it could be Raish. I don't know. I don't speak whatever language that name comes from. But Ra's al Ghul, as soon as he says that name, she like blam and breaks out of her cage, and during her escape, she ends up cutting her shoulder or something and just leads a trail for Batman. So obviously this assassin is kind of low tier because she's an idiot, thinking that even if Batman didn't have detective vision, he still should be able to follow a trail of blood if he has minimal training comparable to yours, which we know, at least, I don't know about in Arkham universe, but Batman has been trained by the League of Shadows or Assassins or whatever the hell they are. So he has at least a bare minimum of your training. So you should have led him somewhere else. So you chase her using your detective vision, and you chase her with the blood on the ground and stuff. You finally get to a point on a rooftop where it looks like she tried to patch it up after she got far enough away from you, so it could stop leading you to her. But instead of her just like waiting for Batman to leave and do something else or try to figure out another clue or another angle, she just attacks him, and during the little scuffle, Batman puts a tracker on her, and then he's just able to chase her kind of not really with any difficulty at all.
And Robin shows up at this point. He's like, all right, let's take her out, Batman. No, let her go, Robin. Here's your line launcher, Batman. Get your little gadget upgrade at that point.
Oh yeah, this is where you get your line launcher, which is really nice because there's so many points up until this point where I was like, oh, if I had that stupid vertical line gun, it would be really cool. And the vertical line gun gets the simplest but most badass just flat upgrade to the device in this game. So for anyone that doesn't know what it does, it just shoots a zip line from above you forward and backwards, and you can just ride the zip line straight towards wherever you shot it at. While you're on the zip line in Arkham City, you can aim down your gadget button and re-aim your trajectory, do a backflip off the zip line, recollapse it, shoot another zip line, and attach it mid-air, just doing backflips and re-zip lining across things. And doing it repeatedly is how you get some harder Riddler trophies, and it is just so cool once you get the hang of it. And another upgrade to it, which is not really, I didn't utilize it a lot, but while riding it, you can hit a button and jump up on top of the zip line and like crawl across it to get even more Riddler trophies and certain angles. And you can't use a lot of equipment while on the line, but you can use it to jump off of and onto other platforms and things. So the vertical line gun becomes one of the most useful tools again.
The Batarang, and you're going to get the freeze grenade in just a little bit. We're not too far from the freeze grenade. Those are the two things that you can utilize while on top of the zip line.
right after the little cutscene of Robin and you end up chasing her, and the chase is scripted, unfortunately, so you can't just like beat it faster than you can. The first time I did it, I'm just chasing her regularly because I think, oh, okay, just no problem. I'll just chase her. As I've mentioned before, I mostly play the game in detective vision when I can. I don't like that there's like little whisperings and shit in your ear in this game, but it's okay. She just disappears in the middle of me chasing because I guess when I jumped off the building there and re-grappled to it to get like the little speed boost, it just, I don't know, I passed a invisible trigger that stopped me from being able to do the chase. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it from a different way. I'll ignore that and I'll use the grappling mechanics and all the speed that I have up until now, and I will try to outsmart this little path thing. So I grapple up to one of the gargoyles and I fly down knowing where she's about to be. And I'm like, okay, now I can just interact with her or whatever. And oh, no, never mind.
Very much like the like the Mario Kart speed boost of someone behind you, except she's in front of you. Vroom.
Yeah, so she just cheated, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, so whatever. So then I just kind of lazily ran after her because she's not trying to fight me or anything, and she's like the worst assassin in the world. So you chase her, and you finally get to the underground of Gotham, which is the ruins of what is called Wonder City. I think Wonder City is a really, really cool part of the game. It's kind of like one of those cities of the future thing where everything's run on like clean energy, and there's little robots walking around to help you.
Of course, they're out of service. You're using those little robots to help find where she went. They're just all down in the corner. They are used in the Harley Quinn's Revenge, so that's a fun little aspect that Harley Quinn found them. She painted them up like the Joker, and you do fight the robots in Harley Quinn's Revenge. So that's a fun little thing where they're just completely inactive in the main campaign of the game.
Like I said, the scene is really cool because it leads up to the League of Assassins. And meeting up with Ra's al Ghul and his daughter Talia, which if you're a Batman fan, you know that Batman has like a love interest with her.
He has a son with her in a lot of the Batman lore. She is the mother of Damian Wayne when there is a Damian Wayne.
Once you get into the Undercity, you are kind of like the fear gas from Batman Arkham Asylum. You start succumbing to the toxins in your bloodstream, and you start dying from it. There's an announcement.
Dutch angle on the camera. I enjoyed that.
Whenever you're walking down it and you start noticing that the camera tilts, an announcement comes over to kind of introduce you to what Wonder City is, and that it's like better and bigger, and it's like the city of the future, and every city could be like this, blah blah blah. Propaganda about shit. But once you start succumbing to the shit inside of your blood, the announcer guy stops being a chipper kind of upbeat guy and goes into a sort of like horror voice. And I think it's really nice that once he recovers, you can just hear the voice shift back. And then you can hear he's kind of like back up to being up and chipper. Kind of a nicer announcement voice instead of that horror.
It's got kind of like that 1950s tinge to it. The Wonder City, City of Tomorrow. Except for that part where it starts to get into Batman's delusion and he is dying. And now we're back to the City of Tomorrow.
So you finally infiltrate the lair of the League of Assassins, or at least their outpost in Arkham City, because I imagine they have them all over the place. But you get in there and you meet up with Talia and you talk to her briefly, and then in a lot of the Batman stories, Batman is supposed to, like according to like some prophecy and blah 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 crap, take over the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows. I don't remember. Is it the League of Assassins or Shadows?
Assassins, right? League of Shadows is another reference. Maybe we'll fit. Yeah, League of Shadows. I think it's something else in the comic book world.
Either way, he's supposed to take over and take the place of the immortal ninja leader. And thank you, Spark Snake. He says that it's assassins. So I'm going to go with that. So he's supposed to take over the League of Assassins as the immortal head of it and use that force and dominion to kind of bring unilateral peace to the world through either espionage and deception or through violence with necessary. It's not very clear.
He's like Anakin Skywalker. You were supposed to bring balance to the League of Assassins.
Yeah, so he tells Talia, "I'm ready. I'm ready I'm ready to do the do." And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I believe you. That sounds awesome. You show up out of nowhere and you look like shit, and you're in the middle of all this shit. Awesome. I believe that you're not playing me at all. So let's go take this test of super demons, and you can become the leader of the League of Assassins and become an immortal Batman. Sounds cool." And Batman's like, "Yep, that's what I want."
Give me the glass of immortal so I can get rid of this blood poisoning.
Right. So the first test it is just to drink from the chalice and ingest some of either Raish's blood or the blood that's in his blood or whatever.
Maybe a small sample of the Lazarus pit, like not full on Lazarus pitting himself, but he needs just a little bit of injection there to save him for now, but not be immortal.
Right, because according to Oracle, I'm about to die like in just a couple of minutes. So it'd be really cool if I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's what the Oracle says. How long do I have? Honestly, minutes.
He drinks from the cup and he starts feeling much better. And if you have low health, your health bar is instantly maxed. And then the wall kind of breaks out and explodes into a sort of, if you remember from Arkham Asylum, the Scarecrow segments, they were sort of like in reality where like there's chunks of wall and you can see like water towers and bridges and stuff like that, but it's all destroyed and floating and it's upside down and it's all wrong, but it's all in some sort of like in between space. I don't know whether this part is like in Batman's mind and it's like a mental challenge or if he was actually magically teleported to another dimension, because I know in DC there is like magic and all that crap, so it's absolutely possible, despite the fact that Batman's like not a magical or a super guy, he was in a magical or a super area. Don't know, don't care.
And
Either
if
way,
he is in another dimension, he is simultaneously still in Wonder City, because as he's fighting this next boss of Rage, it does flash from this desert world back into just the room that they're in, while he's punching him in the face. Room, desert. So if they are in a different dimension, they are simultaneously occupying both physically.
I wish this area was a little bit longer, because once you get into this like mindscape area, you're on like a big floating iceberg plateau, and you are talking to like a ghostly ethereal version of Ra's al Ghul, and he's like, "If you can do this, then you will be able to succeed me and fulfill the destiny, blah 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 crap." It would have been, in my opinion, a lot cooler if the section was split up into a couple different. You had the mobility section, a stealth section, and then a combat section, because those were like three tenets of being a good ninja assassin: is being being fast, being sneaky, and being deadly. So if you did all three of those, I think that would have been cool. But essentially, he turns into like a little wisp and then floats away, making like a little ghost trail. And you have to use your glider wings, cape, and fly along this trail. And this is where I finally learned how to fucking fly. Like before, I was just doing typical gliding and then doing dive bombs and like landing on platforms.
This is where you found out I finally
understood where it clicked in my brain how it worked, because I think it's like the second or third checkpoint in this zone. I wish I pulled clips from this area because it's so pretty, but I was just enjoying it so much I didn't even think about it. But after the second or third jump, there's a part where you have to go like really low and then get high again, or you're going to crash into a low hill mountain. And during this whole thing, you have to make a turn. So you're losing altitude on the whole turn the whole time. And I kept messing it up over and over and over. And I was like, I don't want to look up a video on how to fucking glide, because it can't be that hard. Like, it seems like a basic mechanic, because in every load screen it keeps telling me you can do a dive bomb into a controlled up glide to infinite boost, whatever. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So it was really nice that this part forced me to learn how to glide instead of me just being complacent about my shitty gliding. for the
And it's
beginning of
got
the
the
game.
trail for you. The ghostly ethereal trail is letting you know here's where you go up, and now hit the dive bomb to help you understand that mechanic of dive bomb here. You gain a little bit of height.
Once you finally get through all of the little gliding zones, you get to the end, and then you wake or snap back to, or whatever. You appear back in the room where you drank the chalice, and you walk out, and all the assassins are like, "Oh, sweet, you're not dead," and they like salute you, do their like little poses, and you walk up to the other door opposite end of the hallway, and Talia is like, "Oh, sweet, I knew you could do it. We believed in you. Awesome, thank you. Now you can go see my dad and do whatever you wanted to do here with him." And you go into the other room, and Rachel
The
Ghoul
Lazarus
is
pit.
standing in front of his Lazarus pit and in it just a little bit, and his face is like all decrepit. You can see his face, his like flesh is torn and rotting a little bit.
I've used the pit too many times. You must take it. Take the helm of the assassins.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, you must be the leader. It's time. I must pass it on." And it's all seeming pretty good. And then he's like, "All right, so take the sword and kill me." And Batman's like, "Oh, man, you had to say that, didn't you? That's like, that's like the one thing I don't do."
Except with Solomon Grundy. He ripped Solomon Grundy's heart out just a little bit ago.
I just kill. He's already dead. I can't kill somebody who's dead. Okay, Dillon, that's a technicality. Don't try to get me. I'm Batman. I never kill anybody.
The undead are undead, damn it.
Right. They're already gone. Like, if I killed a vampire, is that a crime? No, I don't think so.
Only in 3 countries. If you're in Romania, you will get a murder charge for killing a vampire.
Only in Romania, though.
That's one of 3. I've got to check my sources on the current countries where you can not kill a vampire anymore.
Speaking of vampire, he looked like one, and he's like, "You got to kill me, Batman, and kill me and become the head of the demon." And Batman's like, "Yeah, but you said the K word. I mean, I can't do that. Like, if you wanted me to like slap your booty up, or like commit like a political crime, or like steal something, I could do all that, but I don't murder often, especially not when people tell me to." So he gets all pissed, and he jumps in the Lazarus pit, and he gets all supercharged, and then his tattoos are all glowing and shit, and then he decides, well, time to kill you then, I guess, since you won't take my place. I'm not walking out of here without a kill. I don't know why he decides to just kill Batman. He could just be like, all right, well, then leave. I don't know. He just, I guess because he's crazy.
He has besmirched the League of Assassins. He's gone through this process and turned it down. He cannot let a besmirchment like this happen, of going this far and then walking away.
That's a good point. Yeah, he dishonored the process and the seriousness of it. And, he went through this trial that only one other person has ever passed. And he's like, yeah, that shit was stupid. And then he just turns down the whole order. So, yeah, Ra's al Ghul turns into a big sand version of him, and he starts sending clones of him. Do you have any clips from the fight?
No, I could have done a lot better in my clip pulling for today. Okay. I think
so
I got the fellatio clip, and I was like, I'm done.
At the very end of the fight, you snap out of it, and you kind of put the blade that was put to you, and you're again tempted to kill him, and you can see the toxin in your blood is affecting you. You're slightly coughing, blurry vision. Oh, sweet. I do have one tiny bit of it. So here's for the visual people, here's a tiny bit of the mindscape zone that you go into. You can see bits of Gotham in the background. You see pipes, giant pieces of gears, light posts. But for the most part, you're just in like a rocky little tiny arena in the middle of this ruined version of Gotham.
And yeah, as you said, like kind of like that's our Scarecrow-esque portion of the game, where we're taken completely out of the world we're in. And with Scarecrow and Asylum, it was a little bit throughout, where it's all here in one, where we've got our non-Arkham City. So yeah, Rage is pissed. He's so pissed, he's ready to kill Talia at this point. After you defeat him, I had a hard time with this. I wish the fight didn't have checkpoints, because I kind of wanted wanted the challenge of doing that race boss fight from start to finish, and the checkpoints. I don't know. It just kind of cheapened it to me. It felt like I barely got to the checkpoint, and I'm starting there. So I wish that's like if I was able to mod the game, I would take out the save points on that rage fight, because it felt cheap to me the way I barely got to the checkpoint, and it was like, oh, I mean, it's a checkpoint, but I do like feeling challenged. I'm not Darkside Phil, who just wants to win the fight. I did like that feeling of challenge, and it did feel cheap to me that I got through that fight by just barely hitting those checkpoints before dying.
I actually had a really easy time with this boss fight because, again, I was on easy, so the game is kind of trivial. But I thought the boss fight was just easy mechanically. All you have to do is just get to the edge of the arena, and similar with the boss fight in Arkham Asylum against Poison Ivy, you just spam your ranged weapon until he goes down. So I just was walking casually in between his attacks and just spamming the electric gun until one of the rounds hit him and stunned him. And then
that's what I was doing too. It's one of these are going to hit him. One of these are going to hit him.
Yeah, so the fight was pretty easy. Then he started sending his minions at me, which are always more of a problem. The other boss that summons minions that's coming up, I had way more trouble with that boss. But after you get done with this fight, you decide not to kill Ra's al Ghul, and you inject him with like a blood taking device. It looks like your goo gun, but it's with a different device in it. So you shoot him in the neck and get a big vial of his blood, and then you're like, all right, well, I'm leaving. And then you do. They don't stop you. They don't try to kill you because you already beat up Ra's al Ghul, and Talia doesn't really want to kill you, so she just lets you leave. As soon as you do leave, though,
she's angry, but she's letting you leave with your life and just commiserating about it.
As soon as you leave, you have to go back on track to get the blood to Mr. Freeze so he can bond it to his cure and make it so it's able to be used on you and all the people. So as soon as you get out of Wonder City, it comes up on the radio that it turns out that ex-warden and now Mayor Sharp has been arrested and he is in the city. So Batman uses this opportunity to save him and also interrogate him. I think this is just a really cool scene just because of the camera angle that it uses here. It is a very cinematic angle. It's tilted slightly. It's off-centered. Like, even though the center of the shot is essentially just Batman's chest, your focus immediately goes down towards Warden Sharp, who is hanging over the ledge, and you can see the museum, I believe, in the distance right over there, or it's part of the train station. But it's just a really lovely shot of Batman hanging Mayor Sharp over the edge by his foot, doing his scare tactics and intimidation. I think Batman in this game, which I like, I don't hate it. I think Batman's kind of an asshole. He has no problem actually scaring the fuck out of people and willing to micro torture them for small amounts of time to get information out of it. Before I play this clip, there's at the beginning, Mr. Freeze, as soon as you release him, he's not in his suit, so he's in a bad state, and he was just being cooked. So he has some of his little, like, I assume liquid nitrogen in his heart, like pumping it so he can be okay. And Batman literally rips it out of his chest and pours half of it down on the floor. And then he's like, give me the fucking info I want, blah, blah, blah. And then he's
Don't
like,
test me, Freeze.
Yeah, and Freeze is like, okay, fine, okay, God, sorry, okay, please do this for me, and then I'll help you, no problem, okay, God, please. And then Batman's like, fine, and then throws his shit on the ground instead of handing it back to Freeze after getting what he wants. He could have just been like, handed it back to him or threw it at him, but no, he throws it down on the ground, wasting even more of it, and then Freeze has to scramble over it, grab it, and put it back in his thing. And Batman's like, honestly, that's just a cunt move. He didn't have to do that.
Same tactics with the Riddler's informants. Instead of Riddler maps on this, you interrogate Riddler informants. They're amongst all the other gang members, and you want to kill them last or beat them last to interrogate them. I'll tell you what you want, just don't hurt me. And he'll still he'll still hurt him. He'll still knock him the fuck out.
Yeah. So Batman is he's a little intense, but I kind of like that about this Batman. So he interrogates Sharp, asking about Protocol 10. The big controversy of Protocol 10 is that Hugo Strange himself has been supplying weapons, drugs, and explosives, everything the crime people in Arkham City need to continue their empire, kind of illegally, obviously. He's been giving all this shit to the criminals. And then once they became big enough of a criminals, he is able to just send in and have kind of carte blanche to do whatever he wants. He can send in and have lethal military force, execute any criminals he wants. He's essentially turned the place into so much of a war zone that he can now wipe it out.
He's looking to purge the criminals from Gotham, and by literally purging them, by sending in missile strikes. And that's his plan to get the crime out of Gotham, is we're going to kill everyone. We got them all in this one central location together, and all I need to do is set up the circumstances where they get guns, have the guns, and all right, time to get to the killer rating.
Now we finally get to the part that I know that you really enjoyed because you brought it up in Arkham Asylum. Once you finally get back to Freeze's mobile little lab that he has set up in, I think it's the GCPD headquarters, Batman gives Freeze the blood, and then he synthesizes the cure, and he produces 2 vials of it. So he takes one of the vials and instantly fucking destroys it, and then puts the other one inside of a safe.
And we can't make another one for a while. It's going to take a long time, so...
It says... I guess it would take a while, but why didn't he just go back to Raish and just get a little bit more blood? He didn't kill Raish, he didn't kill Talia, he didn't he didn't destroy the organization. And at this point, all of the stuff there is still functional, because the last thing he tells Raish as he's leaving is, shut down the Lazarus Pit, or I'll come back and beat your ass.
This is basically Freeze getting revenge for that dick treatment of taking it out and just haphazardly... Exactly. Yep. We're kind of even now. You fucked my shit to live up. I'm gonna fuck your shit to live up.
Yeah, you literally had me by the balls, so now I have you by the balls. There's one cure left. Go save my wife. Joker has her. And Batman's like, fuck you, Freeze. And then suddenly, now you're in the Mr. Freeze boss fight. I didn't see this coming at all. I thought the boss fight was going to happen in somewhere more icy themed, or literally anywhere else other than just the area I've been in 3 or 4 times now. But just suddenly Freeze is just like, all right, well, it's time to die, Batman. And the fight is really cool because Freeze is able to be damaged in a bunch of different ways because, obviously you're Batman. You have tons of different equipment. You got shotguns, you got bombs, you got batarangs, you got sneaking, you got that device that you used against the Penguin to hack his gun. So you got all sorts of things you can use against Freeze. So the fight should be easy, right?
But as he says, Maurice LaMarche doing a great performance. I learned from my mistakes, Batman. Once you get him down in one way, one of the easy ones is a grate takedown, getting in the grates and jumping up and doing a takedown. And then Mr. Freeze takes his freeze gun to all the grates. You cannot get in the grate again to take him down. So, or the magnets, using your electrical shotgun on the magnet to get him down. He takes those out. So you've got to. And I was stuck on the final way for a little while of
me too.
Shit, I'm out of ways. What am I missing? What way haven't I taken him down? So I was very happy that I didn't need to cheat. I eventually figured out the final way that I was able to take him down was with the line launcher takedown. Was the one I was like, what?
Oh, that's an option.
On the hard difficulty, there's a couple of extra times that you've got to take them down. From easy to medium to hard, there's a couple of more hit points, a couple of more times that you need to take them out. So the line launcher takedown was the one that I was just running around. What the fuck haven't I done to take him down yet? It was the last one that I was like, there's a line launcher takedown. That's right. That's right.
If you do that first, what does he do to stop you from being able to use your line gun? Does he freeze the walls, or like that's interesting because you mentioned the grates. That's the one I did last because I did used basically all my equipment, and I was like, I don't know what else I can do. And I saw grates in the floor. I'm like, I don't know what good this will do, but he just walked over and I hit the takedown button and beat him up a little bit. And I was like, okay, apparently that was it. So finding out that if I would have done that sooner, he would have froze all of the grates in the room and I couldn't have done that is really interesting. So whatever one you do last, you don't get to figure out how he adapts to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I do. I think that's pretty much what it's always been. That's always been my last one of figuring out. That's not one that you immediately think of. So I'm not sure what he does to maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would have to do the boss fight again and do that first to see what his defense is.
Akupara says best fight in the game, and I have to agree because it's like the only fight that doesn't have anything else in it. It's just you and Freeze. There's no minions. There's not like a little chase segment. There is nothing going on other than just you and him in the room. And he's not like charging at you.
Stalked.
He's not a berserker. He's not like super fast. He is just methodically walking at you and shooting all sorts of tech at you, hoping that one of those things is going to kill you and you're going to make a mistake.
The only time that I can think of in the series where you are being stalked, like you stalk your enemies in the Predator segments.
Yeah, I really like that the whole fight is kind of turned on you, and then once you finally defeat him, you don't kill him because you and like I mentioned at the beginning, Freeze isn't really he's not an evil guy. He's not a power hungry psycho murderer. He's not trying to like freeze all of Gotham and turn it into an iceberg, except he is in some instances.
Not this time.
Yeah, in this time, all he's doing is he's like, hey, I'm a really good scientist and I'm really trying to bring my wife back from cryo death. Okay, so can everybody just forgive me for doing ethically reprehensible things? Okay, please. And so Batman kind of is like, I'll save your wife. Okay. And then he walks over and uses his Freeze's little arm thingy and unlocks the safe. And dun, 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 the safe that you two were fighting over this whole time was robbed during the fight. So you open up the
Joker's
safe.
calling card.
Yep, you open up
Thanks,
the safe
Batman.
and the Joker cards, and it turns out Harley came and stole it while you two were scuffling. So she brings the cure all the way back to Joker, and I guess I've spaced out on this part, but what happens in between there and the end that the Joker does not have the cure? Because Harley ends up she ends up getting turned on by the Joker essentially. And I don't know whether or not like Harley was like beaten up or captured. Like what happened?
Like it's this is the only part of the story that isn't super tight because she takes the cure to the Joker, and then in the final fight, you have you see the cure. Yeah, I think that's the part that isn't tight. It's not really clear why Joker doesn't take it. Akupara just say that the Joker has it, but just doesn't take it. So he just has more plans. I guess he wants Batman dead or to just be tortured a bit more. There is no specific reason given why the Joker just doesn't take it. He has it. He just doesn't take it until he wants that big finale. I guess we're getting coming up on the big finale. He wants Batman in that theater. He doesn't even have his girlfriend at this point.
Guess he just wants to take it in front of him for the jollies. Yeah, Joker is kind of egotistical. He's just doing it for the show, I guess. But like I said, I guess I'd stop paying attention for just a couple of audio lines or whatever. But Quinn ends up being captured, and like Joker is just like, whatever, I don't care. So,
I'm glad you pulled this. This is a fun little thing of her being gagged.
Yeah, you free her, and well, not free her. You get to her and get the info you need from her. And once you're done with her, there is a prompt on the screen to gag or ungag her. And I just have to say, this is definitely somebody's fetish that you can just put the tape on her, rip it off, and then she can be like, and you just put it right back on, and then you can just rip it off. This is definitely somebody's fetish.
I didn't keep doing this. Like, I got a good laugh out of putting it back on her mouth. Like, you're annoying, and walking off. I didn't stick around to do it over and over again like this. This is hilarious.
Yeah, you just mess with her, just ripping it off. Like, wouldn't that become non-adhesive after a point?
Batman has to pull out his bat tape. He should have some gaffing tape on that belt.
Oh, speaking of which, after you're delivered an equipment drop, Alfred comes over the radio comm, which is really nice that Alfred's in this game. He wasn't really a part of Arkham Asylum, so having Alfred talk to you occasionally over the computer is really nice. But he comments, he's like, "Sir, have you considered a bigger belt?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did, but it was too heavy. It slowed me down. So now I just have to get like remote equipment drops whenever I really need them, I guess."
Yeah, a nice little storyline. Why don't you just bring everything? Weighed me down.
Yeah, what do I need, a backpack? I don't think so. It would kind of throw off my look. Then I'd have to like change my glider and how it works. Whatever. So you find out where Joker's hiding, and you go to take him down and get the cure before he can do whatever he's gonna do with it, or take it himself, or waste it, or whatever. Batman's gonna stop him because Batman's gotta do what Batman's gotta do. Once you finally get there, though, it is like dramatically revealed that Joker is perfectly fine, and he did take the cure, and he's all good, and his face is beautiful again, or well, whatever. And then it. I don't exactly remember how this plays out.
Yeah, that's another reason why he was having the jollies. You think he's taking it. He's all better. You get in this fight in Joker's funhouse with a bunch of thugs with a Titan. Fun little battle that you end up losing in the end. And Protocol 10 is underway when you wake back up. And I've got the final boss fight here queued up. There is a bit more before we get to this final part. Catwoman ends up saving the day with Batman and her segments.
Okay, I remember what happens now. Joker is about to take you out, and he has Batman essentially dead to rights. He's got a gun pointed to him, and he's about to take him out. And Talia comes in because she's been trailing you this whole time. And she says that, if she leaves Batman alone and comes with her, she'll give him the ticket to immortality. So then Joker's like, oh, okay, cool. And then he goes off to do that with her.
Follow your heart, Batman. Pointing to the tracker that was put on her lowly goon earlier. And so you get out of this mess, Batman. You can fucking find us if you follow your heart.
Once it switches back to Catwoman after Batman's incapacitated, she is back. She's finally gotten her loot. She has all her stuff, and she is about ready to leave Gotham. And you walk down a hallway, and you literally have two choices as you see Batman laying there under some rubble, and his body's like hurt because I stopped paying attention for some reason in this part, even though it's an important like part of the thing. Batman is incapacitated somehow, and
He's
then
got like rebar.
Yeah.
And Protocol 10 is now happening. So like the roof is gone on the part of the steel mill where the Joker is hanging out. So Batman is buried under rubble.
Oh, right, because they start shooting missiles all over the city.
Yes.
They're starting to blow up the city and using just danger close. So she sees him on a monitor and hears like a radio broadcast about him being hurt. And she's like, okay, I can just leave or I can go save him. But does he really need saving?
It's Batman. Batman doesn't need saving.
I knew that, like, I felt in my heart that this wasn't going to be like a real choice, and it was going to be like either option is going to lead you to the same thing, which is I'm right about. But I literally decided, like,
thought about pausing the game and looking up, do I want to figure out what's the right choice to make here? And I was like, no, I'm just going to do what I think Catwoman would do. I'm just going to leave. So I left. And then after Catwoman leaves, the credits roll. And I think it's really interesting because it plays an audio log of Oracle, presumably months later. And then after it ends, literally time rewinds like a film back to right before you make the choice as Catwoman. So you can decide to save Wayne or leave again, make this alternate timeline where Batman
Where you're
dies
just
and
stuck in a
Joker's
loop.
king.
You're just stuck in a time loop if you keep leaving Arkham City at this point.
Yeah, so I was sort of right. Like, no matter what choice I made, it was it wasn't going to matter. So he gets rescued, and Catwoman's like, okay, well, now that you're fine and you got your shit together, I'm gonna go do my thing because that's what I do. So you have fun with you and your fucking girlfriend or whatever the hell's going on. And after Batman gets out of the steel mill, he contacts Alfred and Oracle, and he says, help me track her. I gotta do this, and I gotta save her. And Alfred's basically like, no, you need to make
Fuck
sure.
you, Batman. No, you get your ass up to Wonder Tower. Basically, no. You absolutely are not saving Talia right now. You are stopping this missile strike. Get to the top of Wonder Tower so you are able to get the codes.
And this is like a rare instance of Alfred not just being completely obedient to Master Wayne. And it's like a big part of his character whenever he's not like just doing whatever Batman needs, where he has to teach whoever the fuck Bruce Wayne really is, not the character, the guy underneath all of it. Teach the guy a lesson, and he comes over and it's like, hey, you need to decide.
We will keep track of Talia. Eventually you can find her. Eventually.
Probably not going to die. It's probably going to be okay. So, you got to do what you got to do. You gotta be Batman.
And I had a lot of fun once we make it to the top of Wonder Tower, and the Tiger Guards, like I mentioned, having fun with intimidating the all the goons around till so the last one, when you pop out of nowhere, Batman. The Tiger Guards don't get intimidated. I died a few times here on this last section. They've all got guns, and once it took me really quick the final time to take all the Tiger Guards down and have the final showdown with Strange.
I really wish I did play the game on normal and just had started, even if it would take me longer to get back to where I was, because gun enemies are so trivial. Like, even the guys with the shotguns, like on normal, a guy with a shotgun, if you don't have full health, is probably going to kill you in one hit. On easy, you can shrug off bullets. You can just walk through enemies. Snipers do a lot of damage, but you can walk through a couple of bullets, and it's not a big deal. One of the only hard segments of the game for me was when you're going to the theater to meet Joker, and
Sniper upon
like
sniper
alley,
upon
and
sniper.
I lost multiple times just because I was like, I don't know. Am I supposed to get in the theater like sneakily? Is there another way in? It turns out, no, you have to kill all the snipers, but you have to figure out how to do it. So it took me a long time of sneaking and finding good routes. And what really helped me in that segment is the back claw disarm. If you got close enough, or they got close enough to the edge and you could back claw disarm them, you could literally grab their sniper and pull it right off of the building, and then they couldn't pick it back up, and now they're just an unarmed guard just up on the towers and stuff. So I could deal with them whenever I was ready. Took me a while to figure out the strategy, but those are the only gun enemies that did any damage. So I imagine this tower, which was just full of armed guards, would have been a lot harder for me if I would have actually played on normal. So when we do
It's a
Arkham
nice
Knight,
challenge.
I'm definitely going to try to play on hard. If that's too hard, then I'll play on normal. But
And you do have the challenge sections. There is a challenge section just right there at Wonder Tower that you can go in with the Predator maps and try your hand at. Well, shit. I wonder if New Game Plus. I wonder if it's still on easy there since you started on easy.
Game Plus is not available. I can't do New Game Plus because I played it on easy. Big,
Okay.
big L. So if I want to do a New Game Plus playthrough, I have to do a normal or hard playthrough and then do New Game Plus. It is what it is. I will not make that mistake again, and my computer won't shit out on me making my save get deleted. But you're
Final
right.
time.
Once we finally get to the top, we are finally able to confront Strange and put a stop to what he's doing. So you go to hack one of his panels as normal. And I took this clip not because it's like near the end of the game, there's important dialogue going on or anything. It's because the hacking sequence is weird. The way it works in this one is there'll be like a password on the screen, and you'll use both of your sticks and you'll rotate it to the right degree on the stick, and you do it for both of the sticks and it'll form the password. It'll be like, if it's 6 letters, it'll be 3 on this side, 3 on that side, and you put them together to make the password. This one really stood out to me because as the game gets harder and harder, there are sometimes multiple like word jumbles on each side. So
Once you get to the tiger, when you're hacking the tiger, they all have multiple choices of words that you can stumble upon, which is just this final portion of the game after you get the tiger codes after Protocol 10. Because any other time, there's some Riddler trophies and such behind the tiger, and it's like, nope, can't solve them until you get those tiger codes.
But like I said, this one stood out to me because it wasn't as far. I mean, maybe I just did it wrong or the game bugged or whatever. But the hack wasn't 2 words; it was just 1. The left side was nothing, and the only thing that popped up was the word "savior" on the right hand side, and it still accepts it, even though it's DLK DEE, and then on the right side is the word "savior." So I don't know if the password bugged.
It's supposed to be Gotham Savior. Yes, that's supposed to be Gotham Savior. I don't know if that's on easy.
Oh, okay. See, now that makes a lot more sense. I was wondering, like, what the fuck is this password supposed to be? Gotham Savior sound way cooler than Decledy.
Maybe it's on easy where you just need to come up with Savior.
Well,
I don't know.
like I said, no other one has ever came up with like that. I had to solve both sides. I think it just bugged here, and the left side I got in the right spot, but it just didn't decipher the letters. Akupura says it's an easy difficulty thing, so it's possible.
Yeah, the on the hard difficulty, there's a couple of different options to get the first and the second word there to come up with Gotham Savior instead of the Dick D Savior.
So once you unlock the door, you're confronted with Strange. He doesn't even try to put up a fight. He knows he can't do anything.
And right here, we find out that Strange, who was using Sharp as a puppet, himself was a puppet to Ra's al Ghul. The big turn. This was all a plan from Ra's al Ghul. And coming back once again, making another appearance, is our buddy Ra's. After this, we're on our way to the theater. We make it down from
that's when Sniper Alley is after Strange. Okay.
Yeah, and Ra's, Batman is trying to save Ra's. They're both Protocol 11. Strange enacts Protocol 11, which he told no one about, which is explode Wonder Tower. So just like the beginning, you had to dive out of that exploding church. You've got to dive out of the exploding Wonder Tower. Both Ra's and Batman falling down to the earth, and Ra's Harry carries himself because Batman's right behind him, trying to stab both of them. But Batman, nope, gotta let you go.
You forgot I had wings, bro.
And then poof, impales himself after giving himself the Harry carry. Joker comes up on the big screen. Hey, Bats, we've got a party for you. Come to the theater.
And it's the same theater where his parents were killed. And if you go outside, right outside back, you can find little chalk outlines of Martha and Thomas Wayne's death. I think that was a nice little thing. And
you pay your respects. If you're on, unfortunately, Switch doesn't have the achievements. One of the systems that do have the achievements, pay your respects for like 1 or 2 minutes straight. You get an achievement. And the final showdown of Batman, where Batman was created in this alley, next to the alley, rather.
Right. Then once you get into the theater, Joker reveals that the entire time there has been two Jokers. There is the Joker that we all know and love, and then there's the Joker that was introduced about halfway through that is seemingly much more healthy and spry and happy and active.
Yeah, you thought he took the cure when you fought him earlier, but right there is the cure. Batman has these flashes, and there's little evidence, including in the fight with this fake Joker earlier.
We missed an important part right there. During this little thing, Talia ends up getting shot by the actual Joker as she is talking to Batman. So, presumably, Talia ends up dying, and now Batman is all upset. And this is where we finally get the reveal that
Oh yes, I would just went right over this. Talia just stabbed Joker, who is not who is the stand-in Joker, and it is confirmed in the Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC. Talia dies here.
So now we get the flashback, which was Batman putting together all of the instances of the two Jokers. And honestly, I was very confused as to what was happening right here. This was a good twist for me because I didn't see this coming.
Oh, and this is very nice. The calling card of the Joker and the calling card of Joker's stand-in, a photocopy left as well in the safe.
Berg says good use of Clayface. Absolutely, because like I said, I did not see this coming. I was so confused. I'm like, wait, is there like a clone? Is it like it's like an illusion? What the fuck is happening right now?
And his thugs, this did boost their morale. The healthy Joker.
Well, yeah, because they were worried and like they were thinking about turning because their boss is going to die soon. So him just coming back spry and healthy. And suddenly I realized, oh, okay. This makes sense now. The Joker body starts morphing and becoming Clayface's true form. And it suddenly revealed that, well, it was Clayface the whole time. Well, sometimes, as Joker said.
And yeah, here we get a boss battle much improved from Arkham Asylum. We get a couple different forms. Oh, I do love, I think of this as the Critter's Ball. Whenever Clayface turned into that ball, he's got these different attacks that you have to dodge. And they show you, right as you're about to battle him, automatically he throws one of the freeze grenades at him to let you know, fucking freeze grenade this guy.
Yeah, I think this is a really good fight. It's mostly just dodging him until you can wear him down with the ice grenades. But I really thoroughly enjoyed the set. You're just inside of a theater that has no seats, no anything, and it's just super wide open. In the background, you can see the Terror, which I believe is one of the movies that whatever Carlo, the Sandman's real identity. I think it's one of his movies.
Oh, I don't know if I got this on the Switch. I pulled this one from YouTube from user Rabid Retrospect Gaming, getting Batman all dirty with clay. I don't think I got this on the Switch. I think that was a little bit of a downgrade.
Yeah, as you take damage, you get covered, so the Switch probably just didn't have that texture in there. This fight is really interesting because as you freeze him, you can obviously start breaking him apart, which Batman has no problem doing because he knows that he can't actually really kill this guy with his current loadout, so he's not worried about actually doing any damage. His only point in this fight is trying to get the cure out of Clayface. I said Sandman earlier. Clayface, because he absorbed it as he was laying there on the floor before he turned into his big monster form.
And if you get that Critter's Ball of Clayface in just the right position, he will explode himself. And there's certain like pyrotechnics. If he hits a certain part of the theater, just kaboom, takes some of his health away. And after there, we get our proper three forms. Well, we've got two forms. The first form of Clayface gets a little bit harder.
This part kicked my ass. Even on easy, I was suffering in this part. I think I lost like 4 or 5 times on the second form.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, especially because this is fun. The final segment is Batman with a sword for the entire time.
Yeah, it's like a geek's dream. Just Batman running around with a sword.
With a whole bunch of Clayfaces.
And it's really like a simple fight. It's simple. You just wear down his minions until he comes up and he starts attacking you. And during the attacks, you have to throw in little ice bombs into him to do more damage, as you've been doing the whole fight. Problem I
And
was
you can
having
see the
is his
cure.
attacks are so quick and he shoots so fast with, for me, it wasn't like a lot of telegraphing. So anytime he popped up, he would get like a whole free hit on me.
And you see the cure is still right there in his mouth this whole time.
Oh, that's a nice touch. I actually didn't notice that.
A very nice boss battle. Simple, but very well done. At the end of the major upgrade, I don't think I died in this playthrough in this boss fight.
Well, that's good because, like I said, I got my ass kicked.
Yeah, I died during the rage fight a few times, and as I said, just barely made it to the save point. This one, I don't believe I died a single time.
At the end of the fight, once you defeat him, he ends up falling into the Lazarus pit, which kind of destroys it, which I think is really interesting because it confirms that he's definitely not going to be dead after whatever just happened to him, which we already knew because Clayface is hard to kill. But then Batman gets the cure from it and just downs half the container. He doesn't dose it or measure it or inject it into his blood. He's like, I'm just going to slurp this and hope it's transferable through my tummy.
Yep, into the Lazarus pit. Big explosive ending.
I think the ending here is pretty good because Joker is obviously not dead from that little like fake black screen right there, but he is about to die, and Batman is deciding, he's going through his morals, and he's right.
But I don't kill people. But you kill people. If I kill you...
And then he re-injects him right in the shoulder with another bit of his blood after Batman just drank the cure. Which, I would think would cancel it out since the cure is still in him activating.
I actually thought that was a dagger. I didn't realize that's more of his blood.
Yep, he just re-injects him. Batman chugs the cure and then immediately gets stabbed again. So is this like another fake Joker death, or does the Joker actually die here?
He is dead.
Cool.
And we get... the game opened up with a picture of Cain and Abel. So we get a mirror image of Cain and Abel here at the end of Batman coming out with the Joker in his arms.
He dead. No kidding.
Yeah, he is dead. In Arkham Knight, the Joker is dead.
Sorta. Well, you can't forget about Mecha Joker and Ghost Joker and Alternate Dimension 3 Joker.
Yeah, I guess in the new Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, I guess that's an alternate dimension Joker. It looks nothing like this Joker.
Huh, interesting. The ending wraps up pretty nicely, but I like that it even though the credits roll here, speaking of the credits rolling, I think it's really nice that we get Mark Hamill just singing as the Joker here. Just a nice, like, creepy ending, just hearing him sing. But after the credits roll and we're finally, I guess, done with the main story, it picks up as Catwoman, and Catwoman is essentially pissed off because during the scuffle in the last hours of Protocol 10, people raided her apartment and stole all her shit. So she is now on the prowl to go get her things again, and she wants to go get revenge on Two-Face. So she goes home to collect the last bit of her gear, and she ends up getting exploded, which is like a fake out death for her. It's like, oh no, she's dead. And then her cats come up.
And she doesn't really get messed up like Batman got messed up. So here, as you're playing this final section and in the post game, we have debris up Catwoman to go along with messed up Batman.
Yeah, I think it's really nice that you get like an actual proper epilogue instead of just like the credits roll and then they tell you what happens or like continued in the next game. Catwoman goes to the museum because now that Penguin is sort of out of commission for the moment, Two-Face was able to recover from the incidents at the courthouse and take over the museum and sort of convert some of the gang and, make a power play. So she goes and she infiltrates the museum and beats up all of Two-Face's guards. And I really like her, the fighting as Catwoman just because of the animations. She's so fluid and it looks just so good watching her jump around.
And they are generous in this game. If you just do that jumping on an enemy takedown, they won't pause the enemies. The enemies kind of will give you a little leeway and grace when you're taking down someone with the shield like that, which won't work in other instances.
At the very beginning of the game, in this section, it's one of the Riddler puzzles. We won't get back into them because we explained them in Arkham Asylum, but they're in this game and they're way more of them and way more challenging. And since you have more tech or like more tech, you have more techniques to get the puzzles done, which I think is really cool. One of my favorite ones is in this room here. It's a batarang puzzle, essentially, where you have to use the remote control batarang to find an electrical charge and then carry the electrical charge with your batarang all the way to a fuse box and use the charged up batarang to unlock certain areas that weren't accessible to you, but now they are because you overloaded the panels. So you can zip through like tons of different rooms, and the batarang is so mobile. It's like really fun to just do these puzzles with the electrified batarangs.
There's other Riddler puzzles that you can only get using the freeze grenade, which will then create a little ice sheet for you to stand on, and you can then use the bat claw to help move yourself around to get to them.
Now we're officially at the end of the game. The credits rolled, and after Catwoman gets out of the courthouse, she meets up with Batman on the roof, and Batman's like, there's still tons of work to be done. And she's like, yep, I gotta go get up all my shit, and then I'm getting the fuck out of Gotham. And Batman's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go do my thing. And at this point, you finally have like the true full open free roam where you can switch to Catwoman not at will. You have to go to little points to switch to her.
Yeah, like
And
three
you can do
places on
any
the
of the
map.
challenges that you hadn't done up until now. There's new ones available, and you finally have New Game Plus if you played on normal or hard, where you can just start the game over with all your equipment and pick skins. Or if you didn't do that, you can use a cheat code on the main menu and load in with a skin. So after that, I played around a little bit with the Batman Beyond suit because I thought it was the only one that really looked good. And I really love that the Batman Beyond suit doesn't have the cape on it, and it only unfurls whenever you are gliding or when you need it, which I think is a really nice touch. And again, just another props to developers. They didn't have to go all out on the Batman Beyond suit, but they did.
I know that the Batman Beyond suit is technically the best, but I fucking love the blue 1970s Batman.
Yeah,
I guess
it's really nice.
that was like still kind of what they were doing. It's similar to the Adam West Batman. I go with the blue Batman suit most of all when I'm picking the different skins. Yeah, the Batman Beyond suit. I've got to say that's it makes sense that is everyone's favorite, but the blue 1970s Batman is my favorite.
Yeah, I really like the year one Batman suit. That's a good one. And then the Sinestro Corp one is, I think it looks cool, but I wouldn't use it for too long. It'd be nice to do like in the challenge missions, but I wouldn't run around all of Arkham City with that suit.
The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman is now old and bloated, and his suit is now stretching, struggling to fit, is a fun touch.
Did you know in the postgame, if you go to where Ra's al Ghul's body landed from Wonder Tower, his body will be gone? That was pretty safe to assume. Batman just leaves him there, and he even comments that he's going to need a lot of juice to get rest from that one.
Yeah, the Lazarus Pit is all fucked up. He has got a lot of the League of Assassins has a lot of work on them to get Ra's undead this time.
They got to find out a way to just go to the afterlife and just beat up the devil and be like, hey, give me his soul back. Don't make me come back here.
Batman in hell.
So we've pretty much covered everything in the game other than like post-game content and the bonus features. So is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap up?
So I think we covered pretty much everything. The Joker trophies, you get that little hit from your brain of like, you accomplished something. Oh, actually, I do have the one I had to cheat here. I had to ask the internet here in the collapsed streets right before you get to Wonder City. how the fuck do I get this one? I had to cheat, even though I've done it before. This Riddler trophy frustrated the ever-living shit out of me.
What, because you didn't think to just grapple it?
I was doing. I had to cheat. I did.
It's funny if you in this exact screenshot right here, on the other side of the wall to the right of Batman, there is another one that is on the wall in that room. As soon as you climb over the window to the right on the frame here, the Riddler trophy will close, and if you're in the room, it'll just stay closed. So it took me a while to figure out how to get the one that is right next to this one. So you have to like line gun to the other side of the room and stand outside of the window that you can see through the window on the shot, all the way there in the background. And then if you line it up, then you can grapple it off the wall using your bat claw.
One of the windows has the explodable wall on it. And for some reason, at some angles, Batman won't put it on. You've got to be at just the right angle to put the explosive gel on.
Do they fix that
the explodable wall? What's that?
I said, I hope they fix that at night, because it is annoying that you'll go to explosive gel something, and you'll put it on the floor instead of the wall or the ceiling.
So yeah, there is actually two ways to get that one that did confound me for a little while. Not as much as this one. I did not come up with doing that myself, even though I've definitely done it before. I've gotten all the Riddler trophies before. I needed to cheat to remind myself, how the fuck do I get this?
Akapura says, great episode. Look forward to when you get into Arkham Origins. I know a lot of dislikes for it, but I enjoyed it a lot more than Arkham Knight. Well, if you, Akapura, are a person who likes to be on podcasts or, talk in a public format, we could book you for that episode because we can't think of anyone else that would want to play that. So, hit us up if you want to be on an episode for Arkham Origins.
And I did mention my gripe of Arkham Origins. What was the replacement of Wonder Tower has no collision. That drove me up a wall. That the building that was there before Wonder Tower, they did not give collision to.
Well, I'll be on the lookout for that and make sure I don't run into a fake Wonder Tower.
And that one's not on the Switch. I will have to see if that's available on my one of my roommate's consoles if we were to do Origins.
Wrapping up this episode, we usually talk about what our favorite part was, and mine is quick and super easy. The movements, specifically chaining, grapples, and gliding, is so much fun, and it feels so freeing to be able to just get across Arkham City in just a couple of seconds.
The for me, as I mentioned last time, the combat and it is refined in this one. And I have to give a second mention to the thugs, to the goons talking. I love eavesdropping on the goons. There are so many fun goon conversations that you can get in on. As I pulled with that one face, that was the one I was like, okay, I need to pull this. Two faces now, one face. That's the funniest one that I've come across.
Yeah, it makes the world feel a lot more alive, and that the people have personalities and they're not just all like weirdos who just want to kill.
Something that I heard a YouTuber say is that the having the thugs more generic helps because in Arkham Asylum they're so distinct. You have like the Frankenstein head man, you have the spiky haired man, and they're just so distinct that when you see them over and over again. Whereas this one, they're wearing masks and they don't look so damn distinct, and it helps with the immersion into the game.
Uniforms and stuff. Yeah,
it appears like they're part of the gang, but it doesn't appear like they are repeated over and over again, like the Asylum goons.
Well, I think this has been a great episode, and this was a fantastic game. I'm glad that I didn't just play this one and like skip Arkham Asylum because I knew about it. This game was really appreciated because I had gone through Arkham Asylum so soon after. And maybe because of that, I will end up appreciating Knight. And I'm going to try to go into it not letting people's opinions and what I've heard about it dissuade what I feel about it. So, if we can get Andy Q Public on the episode, it would be great to have somebody that positively does like it and has a different take on it.
If he comes aboard, I have been using the switch ports. I have the switch port of that one, and as we know, that's kind of the disaster. If I'm sticking to my switch ports instead of reaching out to my roommate who probably has it maybe not downloaded but purchased that we can re-download. And yeah, we have Phil Walsh in the comments saying Gotham Knights was trash. I was looking very forward to that one. A lot of people don't have nice things to say about it. Just the looks of it.
No Longer Alive crew looks good, but generic.
The No Longer Alive crew is Fortnite. It's not a single player campaign that's story heavy. Yeah. WB Studios, through Rocksteady's pitch of the Superman version of this and said, give us fucking Fortnite. So that's what the Unalive Squad appears to be to me. It's online all the time.
Yeah.
The Rocksteady fans were really in the mood for another single player story that maybe there's a multiplayer, but the WB Studios wanted a Fortnite. So I believe that's what's going on with the current Unalive Squad that just came out.
Either way, I would be interested to give it a shot if it ever comes on Game Pass or somewhere free, because I'm not going to pay for the game.
I did see Gotham Knights on free Game Pass recently. Hopefully it'll stay there. That's the right price to get me into free? Gotham Knights.
As usual, we always give you a chance, Dillon, to get in your plugs. Tell people what you've been working on and where they can find you coming up. I know your schedule has just changed.
Yeah, it does appear that I will be able to keep my 11:30 a.m. streaming time. Maybe I'll throw in some 11:30 p.m. Might as well just stick with what I'm at. I am disappointed that some of the bigger streamers have encroached on my territory, and I have some crossover fans with them. I specifically chose 11:30 a.m. Tuesday through Thursday to stay away from the bigger streamer who goes off the air around 11:15 a.m. Eastern, and they done changed their schedule. So I do kind of want to move it around, but it's what's been established. That's where people know to find co-host auditions, chatting with beloved chatters. I chatted with a fellow stand-up comedian. I say fellow. I dabbled in stand-up. I shouldn't say fellow stand-up comedian. Someone coming up in the stand-up comedy world before the show today, and TikTok around the clock with a lot of weirdos and hotties coming up tomorrow on the Dillon from Somewhere channel at 11:30 a.m. Eastern.
Ooh, I always look forward to TikTok Around the Clock. It's a great show. And if you listening haven't checked it out, go check out Dillon's channel and watch some TikTok Around the Clock. And you get to see all the weird wackiness that goes on that stupid website.
Yeah, I get 2 different segments from what's going on with TikTok Live. So you don't have to witness it yourself. I do a little talking over it. I enjoy the musical guys. What's that? Something Wittes, the fiddler. I know that Spurg Snake is a big fan of him. He's shown up a few times. Tits Chopperson, as I call her, a lady who has her cleavage out while she chops wood. I wasn't capturing her last night, but over on my Discord, I linked it. Guys, Tits Chopperson is live. Anyone with TikTok, check it out.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everyone for joining us this week. We always appreciate the live viewers and the little bit of chat interaction we get. So thank you very much for joining us. And as always, we will see you next time.